This is the Dirk Pinkerton designed Artisan Cutlery Mini Proponent. I have a burgeoning sub-collection of Dirk Pinkerton designed and made knives. I have 2 of his custom-made knives and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his designs that are in production right now. And I just recently received an email from Dirk seeing if I wanted to buy any of the prototypes that had been, just kind of laying around his studio, I guess. And he sent a picture of different knives and to me and a couple of other like-minded folks, and we got to pick out some of the prototypes he's had from the companies he's made designs from, and he gave us deals, which is very nice. The Mini Proponent, I got 2 of them. After not having a Proponent since they came out and always feeling bad about that, I decided when I had the opportunity to get 2, I would jump on it. Now, as you may have just seen, this particular prototype is a little janky. This one is very nice, ideal, great action, great lockup, great material. I love this maroon linen micarta. And then this one is a little less so. It has, you have to give it some wrist, and if you put it out real gently, it will unlock. But it's something I've learned, and I can definitely work around that. This is a prototype, so I'm not expecting it to be perfect. And plus, when it's open, it's great. Okay, so a couple of knife design styles coming from Dirk Pinkerton. This being obviously a Wharncliffe. He is known for his Wharncliffes. He has many different Wharncliffe style knives in production with Kizer, Artisan, Kansept, and beyond EDC. And man, I just love Wharncliffes, and I love his take on them, especially this one with that wicked fuller. Love the fuller, which I have not been able to, I guess if I come way down here, I can't really use it as a deployment method, but these thumb studs are so big, really not necessary. Great in hand is this Mini Proponent. I know the larger Proponent is obviously much larger, feels bigger in hand. I know Knife Center has an exclusive with titanium handles right now, which you might want to check out. But I love this one. This is just a great utility knife, and look at that geometry. You think it might be wedge-like, but this, especially this one I've stropped up. It's pretty sharp now too, but this one is incredibly sharp and keen. If you know what I'm getting at, it feels like it's much thinner ground. Love these proponents. Here's the Kansept Main Street, another Pinkerton design. One of my favorites, but I could say that about all of these. So just a great knife. This one I carried for quite a while in the waistband when I was kind of out of a fixed blade phase and not carrying fixed blades much. I was always kind of putting this in the waistband just in case, last ditch knife in terms of, in my life, I am never pulling the knife out of my belt, out of my waistband to fight or to fend off a bad guy, though it could easily do that. But I use a lot, oftentimes when I'm carrying extra folders, I will loan them to people that I work with. These guys that I've given them all knives, and if they forget their knife, which happens, and they're like, "Hey Bob, I know you got a knife, can I borrow it?" Well, I'm not going to give them what's in my front right pocket. This one has seen a ton of action and has been handed over plenty, and I always felt confident that it was going to be just fine. And some of that has to do with the people I'm handing it over to. But this is probably my most carried Pinkerton knife so far. Probably I've had it longer than most of these, if not all of them. But I do love this knife. I was working on an awesome patina in this burlap micarta, and then I went to the pool with it, put it in my pocket after I had gotten out of the pool, and the chlorine bleached that side. I was like, oh, I really wanted to continue with that patina. It was a natural one, but you know, first world problems. Next up is, I guess yeah, here we go. The Inversion, his Pikal knife. Now I have another Pikal knife from him that's incredibly impressive, a custom I'll show in a minute. But I like that Dirk has, you know, was an early adopter of this blade style, and one of the few ever to make a folder out of it. I was showing you the Tier 1 gear review folding Pikal. This is in prototype. Can't wait for this thing to come out. It is so wicked cool and small and stashable. Can't even see it in my hand. So not too many folding Pikals. The other one is the Emerson Elvia. I don't have that right at hand. But this one looks funny. I know it looks funny. When I saw it, I was like, oh, they got the handle turned around. You want to see that handle like this, and you want to see the blade like that, right? But here, when you either flip it out, thumb stud it out, or use this to deploy out of the pocket, wave style, which is my preferred way. I mean, if you're going to have a self-defense knife like this, you don't want to have to flip it open and then reorient it if you don't have to. So I do like that waveable feature there. But when it's open, yes, you get the full benefit of a Pikal style self-defense knife. Pikal meaning the tip down and the edge in, optimized for your caveman mode when you're just all pumped with adrenaline and trying to get someone off of you. You're not leaning on your super sophisticated Kali knife dueling skills. You're just kind of getting the threat off of you. This is great for that. But it's also in titanium with this terraced handle, and so also a kind of a fancy and beautiful affair here, even though it's meant for or optimized for ugly purposes. Now this is the Kizer. I'm not sure if this is still in production, but I do know that Dirk is coming out with the Inversion under his own label, his own shingle there, and it has a smoother handle. I've had it here, and actually there's a video of it on my channel, and it will have the removable ring like a karambit, but instead of having it come out of the top or angled out, it comes straight out the side and is perfect for keeping your fist posture just right. You're not moving your finger like that to accommodate the karambit hole. So a very cool design from him, and it can be removed just by removing those screws. This one I contend, and well, I have evidence of, is a great utility knife. It's actually comfortable in this position. Odd as it may look, it feels good, feels comfortable, and man, it makes a great utility cutter with that downward tip and that sort of reverse tanto blade shape. So love this Inversion, and I'll put that there. Next, in the Wharncliffe vein, is the Asymmetrical Contact. Asymmetrical, the mid-tier line from Beyond EDC, which comes in and out of having things like titanium here and S35VN. The Terramundi, which is the top tier. Let's see, it goes Beyond EDC, which is the least expensive knife. The middle line from Beyond EDC is called Asymmetrical. And then the top tier line, you know, they made the River Wolf by John Demko. That features a higher end steel and construction, and that's called Terramundi. That's that line. I seem to like these knives in the middle, the asymmetric line. I have another one here. But this is just an outstanding Wharncliffe design. What I really love about this is how if you take the spine of the blade and this main portion of the handle and put it on a straight line like that, you'll see how the edge slants up, and you get that Wharncliffe, the flat blade area with still you get the worn clips there, but that tip is a little bit higher up on center line. So you get all the pull cutting, all of the utility from a worn clip, but if you turn it around in your hands for self-defense, you get that outward reaching blade with the tip slightly out so that it will bite into whatever you're reaching for. S35VN, great jimping, great action on bearings. I like the little touch of the blue anodized clip there, and the micro milling all around actually is very nice. The jimping is very good too, and you see that those little scooped out cups, that's a signature of Dirk Pinkerton's designs. But man, this knife is great, and it's only 3 1/4 inches in terms of blade length, but it's still, you know, which is I consider a little bit smaller than I prefer, but man, this knife is great, and I have no complaints with the size of it at all. This is the Nighthorse, a modern Navaja. This is from the Beyond EDC line, so that's contoured G10 and really nicely done and milled contoured G10, deep carry pocket clip. Excuse me, liner lock, 14C28N blade steel, and a Smoky Mountain Knifeworks exclusive is this Nighthorse. And this one is $30. And I still cannot get over that this is only $30. It is such a great knife. As a matter of fact, I might like it even more than the asymmetrical version of it. Maybe not, but it's right up there. This is, of course, titanium. You see that same sort of micro milling as you see here on the contact. And you have, people say this looks like gills to them. To me, it looks more like the age, what do you call them? The striations in a bull's horn. And oftentimes these old Spanish Navajas used horn in the handle, and definitely the shape of the handle was always horn shaped to accommodate the long Spanish style clip point. I love the shape of this blade. I just think it is so graceful, so beautiful, and wicked looking and efficient. Here, we'll do the same thing we did with the contact. You put it on this straight line here. Now look at that edge. It's reaching down, bellying out, coming up with a long flat into that ridiculously pointy point. This one is not weight relieved, so this has a substantial weight to it. Feels really good. That jimping is really nice. This, again, is a prototype, so there are a few things upon close examination, a few differences that I noticed, but not many. And if you look at the tips of the blades and notice a difference, that's because I dropped this one on the tip and it bent over because it's so fine. And I broke it off, and then I filed it down, sanded it down, and got it to the right shape. So 2 great knives based on my favorite all-time folder, the Spanish Navaja. That's the big folding knife with the ratcheting lock that Spaniards began to carry in the, I don't know what century, I would imagine 18th century, probably 1700s maybe, when they couldn't carry rapiers anymore to settle their beefs. They couldn't carry swords. They started carrying very large folding knives, may as well be swords. I love the reach you get on this, especially with that pistol grip / horn handle. You can get some decent reach with that, and it's very, very comfortable also. But go to Smoky Mountain Knifeworks if you're interested in this design, and you can pick this one up, as they say, for $30, or you can get this one for $150, which for all of this S35EN and all of this titanium and the awesome engineering and build is a steal. All right, so off and on to my customs. I got 2 customs by Dirk Pinkerton, and one of them I picked up at Blade Show 2021, and ooh, that one closed on my finger. Glad I have a fingernail. I bought this one from Dirk at Blade Show 2021. and it's called the Cave Bear, and it is a double-edged Pakal style knife. And man alive, is this thing wicked and cool. Look at that. Look at these grinds. And he did these by hand. This guy is insane with the grinder, and he is very well respected among knife makers. I was talking to the great Sean Kendrick, who had nothing but praise and glory to heap onto Dirk Pinkerton. There's his logo, and Dirk Pinkerton's skill at the grinder, and it is apparent here. Cool thing about Dirk is that he takes inspiration from ethnographic weaponry, and I love that. Like this next one is the Razorback. This is a double-edged fighter, and you can get it single-edged. As a matter of fact, when it came to me, he sent it to me to check out. I ended up wanting it and buying it, but sent it to him, and he put the edge on the top too. Very, very sharp, deeply hollow ground, super thin. Yeah, super thin. And nice micarta to handle. What I was starting to say was, based on ethnographic designs, this one is based on the Khanjar from the Middle East, kind of blended with the Hell's Bells Bowie by Bill Bagwell, the late great Bill Bagwell, who designed and had made all of these long, slender fighting bowies that were just beautiful. And so Dirk said he based this on the Khanjar, like a mashup of the Khanjar and the Hell's Bells Bowie by Bill Bagwell. I definitely see the Khanjar influence with that upswept, double-edged, curved blade. I don't quite see the Bill Bagwell in it, but it might not be something to be seen. It might be just inspiration in terms of how it's used or how it's carried or what he was thinking about when he designed it. But this thing is so awesome. I love this. And just looking at his handiwork here you got the coating on this Nitro V, so you can't quite see the grind lines, which looks very nice and pleasing here. But here it's nice to see those grind lines. It's a little bit of history of the blade there. All right, thanks for watching. I love Dirk Pinkerton's designs, and I love his custom fixed blade knives. I highly recommend, if you don't have any, go check them out. Some of his designs can be had for as little as 30 bucks, and I can't believe how worth it is. I hate to think of the human suffering that went into making this 30 bucks, but it's probably not what I imagined. I will end on that lovely note. All right, thanks for watching.